Do you think breeding your own game fowls always means saving more money? What if I tell you it might be the opposite? In this video, I'll reveal the truth that every wise breeder eventually learns. Sometimes, the smartest move is not breeding yet, but buying chicks from the right source. If you're planning to start your own breeding program, or you've already spent too much on broodstocks that didn't turn out as expected, stay with me until the end. This could save you years of frustration, wasted money, and failed expectations. What's up, guys? Welcome to Breeder's Own channel, where we talk about the real science and smart strategies behind successful game breeding and conditioning. If you're serious about learning the truth behind what makes a strong line, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with every episode we post. Let's start with the big question. Why would buying chicks from a good breeder be better than raising your own broodstock? The answer is simple. It's about quality, experience, and practicality. When you buy chicks from a reputable breeder, you're not just paying for a bird, you're paying for years of selection, testing, and refinement that produced that lineage. Think of it like this. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you're already riding one that's perfectly built and tested. First, proven lineage, no guesswork. Established breeders spend years, sometimes decades, refining their lines. They test every generation for performance, health, and behavior. When you buy from them, you're skipping the long trial-and-error phase. Every chick you get already carries predictable results, traits that are refined, consistent, and tested. That means you start your journey ahead of the curve rather than wasting years trying to build a foundation from scratch. Secondly, quality assurance, science over guessing. Reputable breeders use scientific breeding methods, proper record keeping, controlled pairings, DNA mapping, and health screening. When you buy chicks from them, you're assured of purity and consistency. In contrast, when beginners breed without a structured system, they often end up with mixed traits, some strong, some weak, and no clear idea which combination worked or failed. Buying chicks lets you skip that confusion and focus on growth and observation instead. Thirdly, massive savings in time, effort, and money. Here's the truth that few beginners realize. Breeding your own stock can cost more than buying chicks. You'll need to build pens, brood coops, lighting systems, buy feeds, vitamins, and manage the breeding season itself. Every mistake, like mismatched pairings or infertile eggs, means lost time and wasted resources. Next, avoid genetic mistakes early on. If you're not yet experienced in selecting brood rooster and brood hen combinations, it's easy to make genetic mistakes that produce weak or inconsistent offspring. Professional breeders have already identified which pairings work best for power, timing, body structure, and intelligence. By buying chicks, you're getting birds whose genetics were matched with near precision. No guesswork, no accidental inbreeding, just stable high-quality line. Next, lower mortality risk. One of the biggest hidden problems in breeding is early chick mortality. Chicks dying due to poor incubation, unstable temperature, or bacterial infections. Professional breeders use modern hatchery systems with strict temperature control, proper humidity, and disinfection protocols. That means the chicks you buy from them are healthier, stronger, and more uniform in growth. You're skipping the most fragile stage of their life and starting with chicks that already survive the toughest part of development. Next, learn directly from experienced breeders. Buying from a reputable breeder often includes valuable mentorship. Many provide breeders' notes, feeding programs, or performance updates. That's knowledge you can't buy in a store. You're not just buying chicks, you're gaining access to the breeder system, learning from their successes and avoiding the mistakes they've already overcome. Next, avoid inbreeding depression. When you breed your own birds repeatedly within the same line, you eventually face what's called inbreeding depression, where offspring becomes smaller, weaker, and less fertile over time. Introducing chicks from another strong, pure line refreshes the line. It strengthens your future generations and maintains the vigor, size, and spirit of your flock. Next, clean and disease-free start. Top breeders invest heavily in biosecurity. They vaccinate regularly, disinfect pens, and isolate flocks to prevent infection. That means the chicks you buy are usually clean, parasite-free, and properly protected. You start strong, without carrying old diseases from your own backyard stock. A huge advantage in long-term health and performance. Next, focus on growth and conditioning. When you buy chicks, you can focus on raising and developing them. not on managing breeding pens and incubation schedules. This is where real learning happens in daily observation. How they eat, respond to conditioning, and build muscle. You sharpen your eye for quality and timing skills that every great breeder needs, long before they start pairing birds of their own. Next, higher market value and reputation. A chick from a respected breeder carries its name and lineage. That reputation adds value instantly. When you later breed from that line, or sell its offspring, people trust the quality. If you start with unproven birds, it takes years to build that same credibility. So, in reality, buying chicks can increase your future income, not just save expenses. Next, controlled risk, predictable results. When your chicks come from a tested line, you already know what to expect, whether they're better at power, shuffle, or precision footwork. That helps you design your feeding and training around known traits. It removes the guesswork and keeps your program consistent and measurable. With random breeding, every hatch feels like a guesswork. But with proven chicks, you start with a clear blueprint for success. Next, avoid the complexities of breeding management. Breeding isn't just about pairing birds. It involves light cycles, housing separation, fertility monitoring, and feed adjustments. If you're not prepared, it can drain your time, energy, and patience. Buying chicks lets you skip that overwhelming stage. You can focus on mastering growth and conditioning first. And once you're ready, you can breed with confidence and precision. Next, big savings by skipping expensive broodstocks. Here's another financial truth. Quality brood rooster and brood hen pair can cost anywhere from 20,000 Philippine pesos to 80,000 pesos, sometimes even more. Add feed, vitamins, and maintenance, and your cost skyrockets before your first hatch. Buying chicks lets you own the same lineage without that massive expense. You pay a small fraction, yet you still get the same genetics and quality base. That's practical economics, investing smart instead of spending blind. In short, you're saving big without compromising lineage quality. Let's pause here for a quick truth. If you're thinking, but I really want to breed my own birds, remember this analogy. Breeding is like cooking a gourmet dish. If you've never cooked before, would you start by buying the most expensive ingredients? Of course not. You'd first watch a chef, learn the recipe, and master the timing. Buying chicks from expert breeders is the same. You taste what success looks like before you try to create your own version. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Next, learn before you experiment. Raising quality chicks teaches you what real potential looks like. The right body type, the right temperament, and how lineage express their traits. Once you've seen excellence firsthand, you'll recognize it when you start selecting your own brood fowls later on. Every top breeder began that way, learning from others before perfecting their own lines. Next, build your foundation the smart way. Buying chicks isn't avoiding breeding, it's preparing for it the right way. Once you've studied their growth, feeding response, and performance, then you can choose your best ones as future breeders. That's how true breeding programs are born. From knowledge, not from impatience. Start strong, then refine. That's the winning formula. Now, here's a very important warning. Not everyone who sells chicks is honest. Some use big breeder names or famous lineage labels just to make a sale, even when their birds are not genuine or tested. So before you buy, verify the breeder. Ask for records, photos of the parents, or visit their farm if possible. Talk to other buyers and check their feedback. Remember this golden rule. Gamefowl breeding is built on trust. Once you lose that, everything else collapses. Don't rely on words. Always look for proof. So what's the lesson? Being a true breeder isn't about how many hens or roosters you own. It's about how wisely you choose your starting point. Sometimes, the smartest breeders are those who buy first, learn deeply, and only start breeding once they fully understand what makes quality. When your foundation is strong, every generation that follows will carry strength, stamina, and balance. Don't rush. Don't breed out of pride. Breed out of knowledge. Start smart, not fast, and your name will eventually earn its own respect in the world of roosters. If this video opened your eyes or taught you something new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Breeder Zone channel, where we mix science, experience, and wisdom, because knowledge is the best edge a breeder can ever have. Always remember, the right start always begins with the right source. Thank you for watching, and see you again here on Breeder Zone, where we bring you knowledge that wins.